Can you see that I'm not filming this in the same day, because not only am I wearing a different shirt, as I am actually kind of getting sick, so yay for postponing stuff and then having to record with this stupid voice and not being able to breathe at all. But let's get into this, shall we? Hello beautiful bookworms, my name is Catarina and welcome to my channel. First of all, I'm very sorry for not speaking properly today, but it's kind of difficult because my nose is completely stuck, like, I don't know what I have inside my nose to be exact, and my throat is sore, I'm filled with allergies, and I can't really speak, so I'm going to maintain myself in this, non-excited kind of level, but I'm very excited because today is day 6 of 7 days of top 7, and today the theme is exceeded expectations, and I am firstly so very happy for the exceeded expectations kind of thing because it reminds me of Harry Potter, but second of all, I am very happy to be talking about this subject because I do believe there are books that sometimes we read and we're not counting on how awesome they are, and I really want to share some of those books with you guys. So without further ado, let's get into my list, if I can pick a book up, because let's see what I can do, shall we? So the first book in my list, it's actually by a Portuguese author, and it's The Dehumanization by Valteiro Gumai. And actually I have a full review for this, so I won't spend a lot of time telling you what this is. I'm going to link my review down below if you want to watch it. But basically this is the story of two twin sisters in which one of them dies, and the other one that remains has to deal with that, and they are actually fairly young. I don't really know. I believe they are 12 years old or something like that, so they're fairly young. And she has to deal with puberty. She has to deal with the sadness that her mother gets by having a dead daughter. She has to deal with some sort of abuse. She has to deal with her own conscience, the fact that she feels incomplete because she used to have a mirror of herself and now she's growing old and she doesn't have her sister. And she has also to deal with the rest of the community because this is set in a very small island. Well, it's not really an island, it's like a very small village. I don't know why I said island. I think I was thinking about the place where this is set. But yeah, a very small island. Great. I should go to bed. So as I was saying, she also has to deal with the community of where she lives. She also has to deal with multiple feelings. She has to deal with some sort of first sexual discoveries, kind of a first crush in a way, sort of in a way. It's kind of difficult to explain, but if you can get your hands on this, if you know Portuguese, or if, I don't really know if this is translated, I believe it is. I believe it is translated. I don't really know if it's translated to English, but if you can get your hands on this, I do recommend pretty much all of the works by Valteiro Gumai because he's really a good writer. And yeah, this completely exceeded my expectations. I wasn't really, I have read stuff by him, but I had no idea that this book would be so disturbing but so profound at the same time. So if you can get to this, I would recommend you to read it, but be aware, obviously there's trigger warnings for abuse, for death of a family member, and other unpleasantry stuff, so be aware of that. So for the 6th book, actually I should have said for the 7th book in the other one, I'm not sure if I did because I'm a little bit confused today, but for the 6th book that I'm going to present to you is This Ugly Yet Beautiful World by Gainax Konomini Project, which I do believe is like a sort of assemble of manga writers or something like that, and the art is by Ashita Morimi. And basically I don't really believe that you can get your hands in this in the English format. I think maybe German or French people can get to this, and probably Spanish too, but in the English format this publisher Tokyo Pop is already pretty much out of print, and I actually could get the 3 volumes that comprise this manga series. So this is a very short manga series about these 2 boys, and they find out this girl called Hikari in the woods after this beam of light just appears, and she has no memory of who she is and what she has to do or how she was in the woods late at night. And after she arrives in this sort of kind of sci-fi-ish kind of way, natural disasters start occurring, fish start coming out of the water, sort of other kinds of sci-fi-ish stuff, and natural disasters start to appear. And this kind of exceeded my expectations because I didn't think it was as good as it was. It was really good, and I wasn't expecting that. And it's also really short, and in such a short amount of time to being able to tell this perfect little story was really, I thought it was amazing. And I'm sorry for not giving a lot more of detail, but I do believe that you should go into this blind because this is how I went into this, and I really enjoyed it. But be aware that this has explicit content, as it is here said, so parental advisory for nudity and other stuff, not gory stuff or abusive stuff, I do believe, but yeah, a lot of depict nudity. So that's that. So for the fifth book that actually exceeded my expectations, it is Hollow City by Ransom Riggs, and this is the second book in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series. Wow, being sick actually allowed me to say Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children without stuttering. So I should film sick more often, but this video is getting long, so let's progress. Basically, this is, as I said, the second volume in a trilogy, and the first volume was very meh to me because I was expecting something a little bit more developed, something a little bit more interesting, character development, a little bit more scary stuff, and that's not what I got. I just got a very basic plot and some photographs. But this second one, the plot kind of speeds up, and we are really in life-threatening conditions in here. There's stuff happening, characters are developing. I really adored reading this. I think it was pretty cool. Obviously, it's not the best thing that I've ever read, but it's pretty great, and I really want to finish this trilogy, so I got the third book, and I can't wait for that. Maybe it will exceed my expectations as well. And the cliffhanger that this ended on was pretty cool. I really want to know what happens next, and I think our main character is developing, and I think pretty much if you didn't like the first book, maybe give the second one a chance. If you don't really like the second one, then forget it, but I think this one improved really a lot of the first one. Now for the fourth book that I really think it exceeded my expectations, it is pretty much the whole Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson, but I'm holding The Final Empire, which is the first volume of that trilogy. This is the Portuguese edition. I don't know if you can check it out, but yeah, I prefer the UK editions of the covers, but still, I read this in Portuguese, and this is basically, if you don't know, a fantasy series based on this group of characters that is going to try and pull off it's not really a heist. They are really trying to dethrone the ruler of this place, of this country, because he's an evil ruler and he rules people by forcing them to slavery and other stuff. So that's that. It has a really great magic system in which you ingest metals, and from there you can have a different power for each person, or you can have all of the powers for yourself, and that's how you're called a Mistborn. And our main character is a Mistborn. She can burn all of the metals and extract all of the powers and they can give, but the other characters are not Mistborns, so they are just called another different thing that I can't remember. I'm really sick. My brain is just turning off. But yeah, I can't really remember it, but they can only extract one power. But it's really amazing. The descriptions of the action is really great. It looks like you're watching a movie or just playing a game. The character development is crazy. The plot twists and the cliffhangers on each of the books are just great, and I just have to say that I love this trilogy. I am now starting the second Mistborn trilogy, as it is called, although it's not going to be really a trilogy because I do believe he's going to put out another book. And yeah, I can't wait for that because Sanderson is a really great writer and he pretty much always exceeds my expectations. So I kind of talked about the author instead of talking about a book, but you get what I mean. For my number 3, I have to go with a graphic novel or a comic series, whatever you want to call it, and that is Strangers in Paradise by Terry Moore. It failed my brain. I was like, I know who this is from, but it failed my brain. So yeah. So basically, Strangers in Paradise, first of all, it has one of the most beautiful art designs that I've ever seen. Like, I'm gonna try it. It's just so beautiful, and it has a lot of poetry from the author on the inside, and it's just so beautiful. And then I'm just going to read you the blurb that Neil Gaiman, if you don't know Neil Gaiman, what are you doing with your life? But that Neil Gaiman gave to this book, and it says, "What most people don't know about love, sex, and relations with other human beings will fill a book. Strangers in Paradise is that book." So this is basically, well, this is the little pocket edition version, so this is the first volume. You still have, I think, 5 more. I'm not really sure, but I think you do. And basically this is the story of our main character Kachu and her friend Francine, and how they relate with one another, how they relate with other people. There's a bigger problem that will appear that I can't tell you because it's kind of a plot twist and it spoils a lot of things, but it's basically about what Neil Gaiman said. It's about love, it's about friendship, it's about how we relate to other people and how we live our lives. And it has a lot of beautiful poems, a lot of wise words in this book, and it exceeded my expectations because in the moment that I read this, I wasn't really a fan of anything else that wasn't manga, and this kind of opened my eyes to other possibilities, to comics, to graphic novels, to other beautiful things in the world that I've never read. And yeah, it's just, this is perfect, and I just love this. I love the art style, I love the story in it, I love the message that it brings forth, and I think that if you have the chance, you should just pick up this series, because Strangers in Paradise is everything. It's just is so amazing. It's one of the most beautiful things that I've ever read, and I think that you should pick this up, even if you go with low expectations because of my stupid synopsis, because that's what it is. I can't give a better synopsis for this book, you just have to read it, but it will exceed your expectations as well. So it fits on this category so well. Just pick this up and read it if you can, because it is great. I love this. For my second pick, it's not my second pick, it's like for number 2 or something like that, but let's go on with it. I choose 1090, what? I don't know how to speak it. I meant to say 1984, but yeah, 1000 stuff. Great, I don't even know how to say dates anymore, let's just abort this video, please, because, my god. But as I was saying, I choose 1984 by George Orwell, and this is actually a book that I did a review for, and I'm gonna try and remember to leave it linked down below so that you can go and watch it, where I just ramble about this for trillions of minutes. But I'm just going to say that this is basically about this dude that lives in this society where everything that you do and everything that you say and everything that you think is controlled by the government, and he has to work for the government as someone that corrects the government mistakes in the news. For instance, if they say in the news that they are at war with another country and then they change it for other country, he has to go and fix all of the news and make a made-up truth of something. And this shocked me to my core. This exceeded my expectations completely. I cannot believe that I only read this right now in this time of my life. This is so very actual, like something that is happening right now. This can be compared to a lot of governments. This can be compared to a lot of things that are actually happened or already happened, and it's very terrifying. This is very shocking. The ending of this just killed my soul, and I can't say anything else because I'm going to ramble here, but this so much exceeded my expectations. This was great. I do recommend that if you haven't picked this up, you do, because this is so important to be read in our time and in our place. It's just so important to read this and to get the message inside your head and to understand and to just, I don't know, to just think about this, damn it. Just think about this book. This is good. Read this. Go and read this. I'm cool. It's fine. it's gone. And so for my number one peak that exceeded expectations is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And if you don't know, this is a magical realism book that talks about the Buendia family and all of the generations that it goes through. It talks about the regime, it talks about politics, it talks about what it means to be a family relationships, it talks about love, it talks about community, it talks about discovery, it talks about being stuck somewhere and not being able to leave, it talks about revolution. It's so very beautiful, and I should have given it a shot earlier. I don't know if I said that I have a review for this, so I'm going to link it down below if you want to go watch it. I apparently have a lot of reviews of books that exceeded my expectations, probably because they did. So I do recommend that if you haven't read this, and if you like magical realism, and even if you don't like magic realism, you would love this, because this is very fast-paced in a way. It looks like the author is telling you a story, like sitting in a fireplace in a camp, and not actually like you're reading kind of a big book, but it's really beautiful. I really love this. This is a Portuguese edition as well, so that's probably why you can't really, it's not the normal that I see on English, talking is hard. It's not normal that I see on English places that sell books. Let's just say this. And I really love this. This quickly became one of the authors that I most admire, one of the authors that I really want to read all of the books by, and this was a book that started it all, and in my opinion, I have read some more books by him, and it is still the best book that I read by him. So I do recommend you go and pick this up. So that is it for today, guys, and I'm sorry that I'm not as pumped as usually in my videos, but it's getting really hard to talk, and it's already 16 minutes because I can't even breathe. So yeah, guys, if you know any of these books, if you also know books that exceeded your expectations and want to share them with me so that I can go and read them and exceed my expectations as well, please leave in the comments down below. And if you like this video, leave a like or subscribe. And it's almost over, the week, the 7 days of top 7 thingy, it's almost over, but I'm so happy to be participating. So thank you guys so much for watching, and happy readings to you all. Bye. Oh my god. Bye.